Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, Happy New Year. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me, Mr. Lady Ada on camera control. We're here at the Adafruit factory. Behind us, all the machines that make your dreams come true and make some hardware.
Yeah.
This is where we do all of our design and coding and testing and shipping and all that good stuff. We got a jam-packed show for you, about 1 hour of maker goodness, news from around the world and more. Mr. Lady Ada, why don't you kick it off and tell us what's on tonight's show?
I'll tell you what's on tonight's show. Just first up, we're wearing masks right now because we have one more person who's here, and as soon as they're gone, we'll take off our masks, but this is how we run Adafruit. Lady Ada and I live together, so once the last person is out for the day, we'll be able to take off our masks. I'm not concerned about us, I'm more concerned for Jaime, the person who's still here, because I wouldn't want to get him sick. Okay. So let's kick it off. On tonight's show, the code is New Year is here. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Or if I don't remember, it'll be up in the morning. New Year's here. Use it, save 10% off, get free stuff and more on the Adafruit store on the way out. We got an Adafruit Live series of shows. We'll talk about those, including show and tell. We got some time travel, look around in the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. Main New York City factory footage. We got a bunch of 3D printing. We got everyone's favorite segment, INMPI, brought to you by Adafruit and DigiKey. We've got some new products. We got a bunch of top secret. We're going to answer your questions. We do that over on Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. Join us there, all 32,000 of us. Tonight's going to be a big show. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
That's right.
All right, that's us. Okay. So let's first do some COVID news. So y'all seen the news, everyone's starting to get back from holiday. It is vertical. So everyone pretty much at Adafruit is in some stage of getting tested at some point. So Adafruit seems to be beating the odds once again. Our team's vaccinated, boosted. They're getting tests, rapid tests, PCR tests. We wear high quality masks. We have staggered shifts. We have lots of room, we have lots of airflow, we have filtering. We've been doing all the things, so this wave is hitting everybody really hard, and there's a lot of scary moments because people in their families are testing positive and they have very mild symptoms because they're boosted and vaxxed, but it's still scary to get that news. And the way Adafruit does pay time off and all the things is others focus and takes care of our team. However, I know that's not what's going on in the rest of the world, and I know that's probably not going on maybe where you work, and I know that's not going on in probably your life. And I know we're about to get through this because I could feel it thrashing. Its last gasp, which is the good news. The bad news is everyone lost empathy for each other. People are getting meaner and worse to one another. People that are normally pretty decent, it's frayed them to a point where they might not have any other way to react or interact online other than anger and pain and depression. And we're all going to be stuck with each other on the other side. And I'm really worried about the damage that's being done with that right now. I could just say, just from a company point of view with Lady Ada and I, she's had stalkers, harassers, people threatening her. You'd think that was something that would get lower over time. It just goes up. And one of the reasons is everyone's just been out of their minds for the last 2 years. So it's unfortunate that everyone is doing this, and we are going to be stuck with each other. So I'll just say, please be good to one another because, bye-bye, Jaime. Take care. Because this is, until further notice, there ain't another planet to move to. We're stuck with one another. So anyways, that's the biggest concern I have right now is we're about to get through it, but what's coming out on the other side is probably a big national conversation that we need to have with each other. Anyways, so that's what's happening there, and he'll be gone in a minute. So let's start doing the show, Lady Ada. We give away free stuff.
That's right. We're doing freebies. We ran out of pink feathers, but we have black feather RP2040s available. We still have a couple left, so we're going to do that freebie. However, it's going to go away soon. So if you want a free feather RP2040 for $9 or more, place your order now. $149 or more, you get a free Stemma QT board. We have a bunch of different sensors and breakouts available. $199 or more, free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. And $299 or more, a free Circuit Playground Bluefruit. We'll also be going back to the Circuit Playground Express. Due to the shortage, it was a little hard to get SAMD21 chips, but we got some more. We're going to be making more of these, and we'll be back on track soon.
Okay, we do a live series of shows. Sunday we did Desk of Lady Ada. Today we did Show and Tell. JP, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We were running out of time today, and I emailed JP and I said, and no, Pedro, I'm just like, hey, I think I'm going to have to cancel the Show and Tell, and I really don't want to do that. And ask an engineer, just because everything that's going on, I was going to bump it or not do it, because it just takes a while to put these shows together, and we were really focused on taking care of our team, and just everything happened all at once. But thank you, JP, for doing this. Watch the show and tell everyone. Go to our page, adafruit.com/blog, or you can watch it on YouTube at any time. Relive the magic. On Sunday, we do Desk of Lady Ada, and over the holiday break, we've been doing retro stuff. So what was part one of Desk of Lady Ada on Sunday?
Part
Oh,
one.
wait, that was even New Year's. It was New Year's Eve, and it was going all the way up to, we did a project right as it hit midnight.
Yeah, so I've been
Yeah.
working on floppy disk interaction, and I think on New Year's Eve I actually got floppy disk reading going. So there's a bunch of 1-minute videos as you see me learning how to interface with floppy disk drives using hardware. We're going to add CircuitPython support for floppy disks, but also it's really great for archival purposes. I even as of 2 weeks ago, I thought a floppy disk, a floppy disk, a floppy disk. Turns out there's different formats and sectors and encodings and spindle speeds. This technology was used for 25 years, and a lot changed. So I learned a lot, and we're writing up some of that and documenting it, but also you can watch the videos.
Okay. And then we did, from the Desk of Lady Ada, the Great Search for Lady Ada User Powers of Engineering, to go to digikey.com, and you were finding cool parts and things you needed and more. And what did you look for this week?
So this is for a floppy disk. I wanted to find the matching power connector, which is called a Berg connector. Which is ironic. A lot of connectors are called by the name of the company, even though the company makes hundreds or thousands of different connectors. But I found the connector, showed where to get it on DigiKey, and also, even though floppy disk cables aren't made anymore, I found some suggestions for here are cables that'll probably work if you want to connect from this chosen connector to a floppy disk drive to power it.
Yeah. Okay, JP's product pick of the week is back. Welcome back, JP. Here is a highlight from this week's show.
It is the ATtiny 817 Seesaw Breakout Board. What we've developed and we use on here a lot is the Seesaw framework. That is a I2C to anything protocol. This is the RP2040 QT Py. I'm just speaking I2C between these two things. A lot of the heavy lifting is right here on the Seesaw board. So I'm reading a potentiometer, and I'm taking those analog values and I'm actually converting them into PWM values to change this brightness on my yellow LED here. I'm reading this little switch here. This is actually a NeoPixel right over here. And my potentiometer is serving double duty. When I'm in this mode, I can change the speed of a fade between a couple of colors, or 3 colors to be precise. It's the ATtiny 817 Seesaw Breakout Board.
Okay, and John's Park Workshop will be this Thursday. Tomorrow, stop by, and you will also be able to check out the CircuitPython Parsec. That resumes too after the winter break. Scott will be back this week. Thank you, Tim Foamy for filling in for Scott on Deep Dive, and I think Scott is doing some wrap up on some Raspberry Pi stuff.
Raspberry Pi Zero, I think SD card and USB wrap up, getting some of that stabilized. Learned a lot,
Yeah.
and he seems like he said he's got fresh eyes and he's excited to go in and knock out those last few bugs.
All right, time travel. Let's look around the world. Makers, hackers, artists, engineering. We have a sort of new segment-ish that I wanted to talk about. But first, a little bit of a reminder, because of supply shortages, because of all the things that are going on planet Earth, we've moved AdaBox to editions. So before we tried to get some of them around some specific holidays, absolutely not possible in this current timeline universe. So what we decided to do is say, no problem, let's just make it editions, and then we're going to not have to hit a specific date. We'll just have a range of times because there are 4 seasons. So next year, we'll be shipping the winter edition, assuming something else doesn't come up, in late January, this year, February. So it'll probably be February, just the way things are going right now. So there's only like a couple of slots left. So if you haven't got an AdaBox and haven't got a subscription, we'll be full soon. So go to adabox.com. We started a little series. I hope to do more of this. Here's Lady Ada from high school.
A little bit after high school.
A little bit after high school, but really close.
They do have the lip ring. I want to say I didn't get that till I was 18.
Yeah, but I've seen the picture of you in high school. You look identical.
I look the same, yeah.
So we did this little series called Tales from the Hack, where and I put this up on our blog. And it was because we were walking around after we'd been doing this Floppy project, and it kind of just hit you, and you told me the story, and I'm like, oh my God, the story is so good. I must email Mudge, who's now the CTO of Twitter, and Joe Grand, Kingpin, and see if it's okay to post this story. So Lady Ada, take it away. What is this thing that happened when you were in high school with Joe Grand and Mudge, kind of well-known people in the hacker scene?
At the time they were local Boston buddies in the 617 crew. But when I was in high school, I was helping out in the IT department, and they were tossing about a bunch of old, like Apple and Cocoa and TRS-80, like really old computer stuff that had been in the cage.
Are you saying in high school you did computer stuff and you were doing stuff with the IT department?
It's true.
I'm shocked.
I know. Well, at the time it wasn't so cool, but I was just, the IT director, she was really awesome, and I think I was just helping organize and clean up, and she was going to dumpster all this stuff. And I was hanging out with a lot of hacker crews and hacker houses. And, one thing that I knew about hackers is like they love old hardware, especially free hardware. And so when
tastes better if it's free.
It does taste better. So I called up, or I emailed, or I messaged Kingpin, maybe I paged him because he was doing pager stuff. And I said, hey, come by to high school and help me dig through this trash, and maybe we can find something cool. We could either sell it at swap meet, or we could recycle it into some projects. So Joe Grand came by. He does a lot of hardware hacking stuff now, and does product design for Parallax, among others. We dug through some hardware. I think we got a pile of Apple IICs, and then we had to get it, I think, to the loft. And me and Joe Grand were like, we didn't drive. I think he was like 18 or 19, and maybe didn't have a car. And I think I was 16. I didn't have a driver's license yet, or at all. And so he's like, okay, let me call Mudge. So Mudge came by, and he drove in this like incredible car, like the coolest fucking car.
This is not the actual car, but I asked Mudge. This is pretty close though.
It's the same car, but I don't know if
it's a
I don't think he had tinted.
90s. No,
it's a Cobra.
Yeah, it's a Cobra Mustang. This was the coolest car ever.
What's funny is you asked Mudge, like, oh, what was that car? He instantly like knew all the specs and mods. I mean, he loved that car. He drove up in this like sweet ass car in front of the quad, where all after school, where all the kids were like smoking and skateboarding and whatever, hanging out, because it's kind of the outside quad area of the high school. And this like car drives up, and it's just like this totally bitchin' car. And I get in with these Apple IICs, and like everybody in the high school was like, what the hell? Why do you have a friend with such a cool car? Why were you carrying some Apple IICs? And we thought you were a loser, but it turns out that your friends are cooler than ours. So I was kind of cool for like 2 days.
So let me tell you some parts that Lady Ada is not going to say. Sorry. Well, first up, let me just do the big thank you. So thank you, Mudge and Joe Grand, for being you, because they saw something in this young woman who was interested in technology, who is getting made fun of a lot, who is getting tormented a lot, who is told, don't do this isn't for you, girls don't do this. All the things that happens still to this fucking day, and I'm kind of tired of it. Like today we got an email, how dare you do retro stuff? How dare you do this? This is mine. It's so terrible what people do to each other.
I actually love
right
that people
now.
think I'm like 25. I'm much older than that.
And I'm sorry to curse, but it bothers me that when you told me this story, I was looking at a tweet that we had to block some guy because he was being so shitty online about you liking technology. This is a waste of time. Why is this wannabe goth? I'm not going to even say the curse words they said. But like, why does your experience have to be so much different? Like, if you were a young boy, it would be like, oh, look how he liked computers, it's so good. But because you were a woman,
I don't know. I think we live in a society that's
yeah, I don't like it. I don't
that's
like
not,
it. And I'll say this for 2022. I'm sorry, everybody. Like, we have to call it out. We have to say stop. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to be positive and we're going to show good things. But it's a little ridiculous that the day that we're getting this story, and you're like, yeah, the people made fun of me, and I was cool in high school just for like a day because of this, and we're like dealing with people being shitty to you. I don't like it. I don't like it. And here's the other part.
I shrug not because I think it's not a big deal. I shrug because it is,
So,
yeah, I agree.
So I have let me put it on time travel because I don't want to even have the Apple logo look at this. So sorry, Apple logo, look away.
Cover your little rainbow
You're too
eyes.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So I remember I was talking to a CEO like person of a company that's very similar to Adafruit, and I was telling them about something that we had to deal with. We had to basically get a restraining order against someone because of something that they said sent mail, just physically. Anyways, it was a messed up thing.
It got granted.
Yeah, and it was a messed up story. And they said, oh, things can't be that bad. And I said, have you ever gotten flowers delivered to you with a death threat and saying, I'm going to cut your head off because you're Trinity from the Matrix? Have you ever had to deal with having... making sure there was enough people around, going to an event so they didn't bother you, like all these things. He's like, no, and I'm like, yeah. So like, please don't say like it can't be that bad. Like
Yeah.
your experience, you're like, oh, I have to like run a business and it's really tough. Well, not only does Lamore have to run a business, but she has to deal with all these things constantly. Like today,
It doesn't make the debugger run any faster either. Like I still have all the technical problems too.
yeah, and like Adafruit worked out okay. I would say
Yeah.
we're a successful company. Can you imagine if you didn't have to deal with all that stuff, how much more hardware you can get out?
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm a little upset because I thought this was a beautiful story, but I also know the other side of the coin. So maybe I'll edit this out later. Oh, we're live, I can't. Okay, so that's our Tales from the Hack.
Okay.
Let's do some Python news.
It was a good story. I still have that TRS-80, I think, back in my parents' place. I'm going to go see if I can dig that out.
Okay, it's Python on hardware time. So this week in the newsletter, we've got a bunch of stuff going on. CircuitPython 7.1.0 final is out. I'm going to skip this part, which is I'm going to play a video, the 9-part video of us getting ready to get floppy support, being able to control all this cool retro hardware with CircuitPython. But the most important thing this week, please everyone, as 2022 starts, for the last 3 years, we've put together a post. 2019, 2020, 2021, even though some of those years probably should be removed from the calendar. What we want is you to tell us what you want in CircuitPython. Just put your thoughts in one place. Tell us what you like about it. Tell us the things that you want to add to it. You could do a video on YouTube, a post in the CircuitPython forum.
Stuff you wanna
a blog
do.
post, a series of tweets, a guest on GitHub. Or you can just email to circuitpython2020@adafruit.com and just let us know if it's okay for us to post your thing that you send us on our blog and more. You can also use the short URL, well, it's short-ish, adafruit.com/CircuitPython2020, and that'll take you to the blog post and more. What's cool is you can see CircuitPython evolve all this time because we built
so cool.
a good community together, a good community of people that is very inclusive that would always give you a ride in their cool car. So
And give each other a ride. And what I
Yeah.
like is every year you see stuff that we say we're going to do, and most of that list actually gets done. Like we are making constant, consistent progress both on the community side, the documentation side, the hardware side. So many little things that, when we work fast and work hard, there's a lot that we've added. We have like over 250 boards supported. We have hundreds and hundreds of libraries supported. With Blinka, we support another like 50 Linux boards. And like, believe me, if it didn't work, we would get a lot more emails. So it's really working out. Our hardware, other people's hardware, people are depending and using on Adafruit libraries, Adafruit software, Adafruit firmware, Adafruit hardware, the whole shebang. And the cool thing is everything is totally open source. So people are mixing and matching it with other hardware, getting stuff working, and having a really good time. So join in. CircuitPython and Python for hardware is something that I think is has really been an important change and update to the way people code in the maker community and engineering community. I still write code in Arduino, C, C++, assembler, and other people do too, and that's fine. But I think this is a really welcome new family member.
Yeah. I like the post-holiday tweets and emails that we get, because folks say, oh, I was able to get a project up and running in less than an hour, because that's all I wanted to spend on it anyways.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to do a tool chain, didn't have to do anything. They just plugged in a board, they modified a little bit of code, and now they had this like beautiful blinky thing for their granddaughter or something like that. So I thought that was really nice to hear. And by the way, that's the other side of the coin sometimes. 1 out of 1,000 things ain't great, but you have to focus on the 999. I got to tell myself that a bunch too. So check out this week's newsletter. There's a bunch going on. Professor John Gallagher has a bunch of stuff going on. There's a video on programming the Fibonacci Micro 64 LED board using CircuitPython. Code's on GitHub and more. You can make a RISC-V chip run CircuitPython.
This story was really cool, by the way.
Yes. There's a CircuitPython online ID update. And then don't forget Scott's deep dive this week. And then we have some other news that usually folks who are tuned into this stuff, or even if you're not, maybe you want to know about it. KiCad 6, KiCad 6 is up.
You say KiCad, I'll say KiCad, and
yeah.
together we've covered it.
No, we should hate each other forever and
kill the KiCaders
and
murder the
just
KiCaders.
dunk on each other forever and completely be jerks about it. And so, anyhow, what I wanted to do is make sure we built in enough time this week. I didn't really expect to do a rant, but I did. Sorry. And play the video. So we
First
have
rant of 2022. So proud
no,
of
it's not
you.
the first rant of 2022. This is the first one that's been broadcast. This video that we're going to show now is beginning to almost present. So it's 9 videos in one, 9 1-minute videos, altogether about 8 minutes. And it has 0 to getting a Raspberry Pi Pico RP2040 to completely control, read, write, archive a floppy drive with a floppy disk in it. So it's super cool. All right, here we go. Okay, Lady Ada, what's this?
Okay, those are index pulses coming from this floppy drive that I am interfacing with. I just got, the first kind of parts going where I enable the motor and I'm setting the direction. I'm going to, get the index pulses, and then I'm going to find out when it's at track 0. So basically trying to read data off of this floppy drive so I can add native floppy disk support to CircuitPython. Soon I'll update this to maybe use the RP2040 as well. Right now I'm just writing the code in Arduino because that's what I'm familiar with. So I finally got all the IDC pins set up the way I needed to. What was really helpful was this really, really nice modern data sheet from Samsung for the SFD 321B. So it actually goes through everything you need. So far so good. So I've just started basically getting the motor running. The floppy disk is responding. So far, so good. Hi!
Ada, I want to copy that floppy.
That's right. Here I've got some more stuff going on with my floppy disk controller that we're going to add to CircuitPython. So yellow traces you can see is the index pulse. It goes low, and then you see this like moving blue line. That's actually data coming out of the floppy drive. If I click the single button, you can see the data comes out, and it comes out as these pulses that are like, they're supposed to kind of be like a PWM, but they're actually just very low pulses, and then there's a pull up to pull it up high. And you can see that the data comes in, in various widths. And so that's actually the tough part of reading a floppy, is this is about 500 kilohertz. And the pulse width varies encoding the data. So over here, I'm actually doing something a little naughty. I'm not using a PLL. I'm actually just very, very quickly in a no interrupt loop reading those pulses and printing out the pulse widths. And I'm going to see if that's good enough to read data from a floppy drive.
Okay. Nice Nordic shirt. Lady Ada, what are we doing?
Okay, so part 3 of my floppy project is I've got the data coming out of the read pin. And this is a GPIO pin I'm toggling up and down to show that I'm properly reading the pulse widths for the data that's coming out in MFM format. And then what I've done over here is you can see I'm capturing flux transition, and I've got a Cortex M4 here with like 256K of RAM. And so it's actually totally fine for me to just buffer the entire track of flux transitions because there's only 100,000 transitions maximum per track. And you can see that there's a little bit of binning here. So there's a couple pulses, a lot of pulses around 40. And then down here, we've got pulses around 60. And then finally, we've got pulses around 80. We've got a couple extra long ones, which is a little bit weird. Like, why is it 228? So a little bit more to analyze here. But I'm starting to get data coming in, and the data looks right.
Hey, data, what is this?
Okay, so we're doing some floppy drive hacking, and I've got this like original 3.5-inch floppy drive, but these are actually hard to get because they're not made anymore. So I was wondering, there's these off-the-shelf USB floppy disks, and can I somehow use those? So I opened one up, I cracked it open, and it actually has a SFD 321S Samsung 3.5-inch floppy drive with a little adapter here, and the adapter's got a little cheap chip on the back, and there's all these points here, and I'm hoping, can I get flux transitions out of here because I don't want it to do the translation for me. I want to get that raw data. Well, good news, I found a really nice person online who actually did the pinouts, and then when I access the disk, you can see on the scope, I get my index and flux transitions. So, normally if you use these USB to floppy drive converters, you don't, they give you like a USB mass storage, but this way I can get that archival quality flux transition data out.
Hey, what is this?
Okay, I still got my Panasonic floppy disk drive and my Feather that I'm interfacing with. And I've gotten flux data out, and now I want to get that flux data from the disk drive and the Feather into the computer. So I'm using this open source tool called Greaseweasel, and I'm updating it to support this setup that I've got here. So basically I'm reporting the Greaseweasel firmware into Arduino. So far so good. There's some like flux opcode thing that I got to figure out. Like I've got the flux data leaving here. You can see it's got the flux data sent, and then over here it says, okay, got the flux data, but then I have to like somehow encode the index. So I'm getting there. I'm close to getting raw data dumps onto my computer using totally open source hardware and software.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! Boo!
Hey, what is this?
This is the first floppy disk I'm going to try reading with my Greaseweasel compatible firmware on this Feather M4 hooked up to this floppy disk. So I've got flux data and track seeking working, and I'm able to get some tracks working, like some tracks are reading just fine. I'm also getting some tracks where it's like it doesn't see any sector data, and I think that's probably because like the flux data format I'm sending or the index whatever opcode I'm sending isn't quite right. But for those first few sectors that I do get working, the data is good. So I'm just gonna have to figure out what it is that I'm doing that's slightly wrong, but I feel like I'm getting closer. At least I'm seeking, and I'm getting some data working from the beginning of the disk track.
What is this?
Okay, I think I figured out all my power supply issues and my flux timing issues, and I'm ready to read the secret disk that I got that they hid in that place that one time.
Right.
Thank you, Acid Burn. So I'm gonna put this in my floppy drive, and then over here on Greaseweasel, I'm going to start capturing track data. So I'm going to capture all the MFM IBM PC sector tracks, all 80 times 2 heads, so 160 total tracks. Okay, so we have read all of the sectors 100%, so it's ready to open up WinImage. We're going to open up that secret image. Oh my God, it's going to open, but I'm going to open it anyways. Yeah, let's just open it. Oh no! Not again. Yeah. I just got rickrolled by my own floppy disk reader.
Dude, what is this?
Okay, so we still got our floppy setup going on here where we're capturing flux traces from a 3.5-inch floppy drive. But I've replaced the Feather M4 SAMD51 with this pink Feather, not just because pink is a cool color, but because this Feather has an RP2040 on it, which is a low-cost chip from the Raspberry Pi Foundation. And this chip can run really fast. It also has this cool PIO peripheral. So we're overclocking it to 200 megahertz, because why not? We're getting good flux captures over here. And when we recompiled it and we're running a Greaseweasel, it's just working. So this is cool because now I've got 2 different platforms that work with this Arduino library, which is the goal, to make it hardware agnostic so more people can wire up hardware and build hardware to work with floppy disk drives. And then next up, maybe we'll try this little fellow, the Raspberry Pi Pico, $4 microcontroller board.
What is this?
Okay, I'm wrapping up for the night. It's getting a little late. Time to maybe do some yoga and chill out. So I've got the final board I'm going to interface with. This is the Raspberry Pi Pico. So this is a $4 microcontroller. And the reason I'm targeting this is it's available. Like DigiKey has 17,000 of them in stock. And some of the hardware that people are using for open source floppy interfacing isn't available because we're in a silicon shortage. But this chip is available. So what's nice is that the pinouts like kind of line up very nicely. You can connect them straight through to your floppy disk drive, and then load the Arduino code onto it. And I set up the pinouts all nicely and tested it, read a whole floppy just fine. And then I've submitted this to the Arduino library registry, so you'll be able to get releases, and maybe I'll even have it auto-generate UF2 files. So I think I'm done for tonight. Maybe time to celebrate.
Good work.
Glass of water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and let's CircuitPython news for this week. So this is beginning, middle, and present to get us where we wanted to be. So we would be able to start to add support for all sorts of removable drives and more. You know, we got some dunks and snarks about why would you do this? Well, there's a lot of media that is about to just go away forever unless we preserve it, put online and more. And also, you can't get hardware, so you may as well
Can't get new chips, get old chips.
revitalize this hardware that a lot of people have instead of throwing it in the landfill.
Yeah.
You like the planet, don't you?
Yeah, this is a good way to reuse it. And so we're adding CircuitPython support. The Jepler's working on that. And I'm going to get back to adding more Arduino support shortly. Took a little bit of a break just to get back to business stuff, to get all the new products in the store. We're going to talk about shortly. But
Okay.
more to come.
Cool.
Never ending.
Let's jump to main New York City factory footage. We're going to do 3D printing, then we're going to go right into INMPI, and then new products and some top secret, and we should just be able to get it all in tonight.
Okay.
So take it away. Link and get us out of here. And it's time for main New York City factory footage. And y'all are going to like this. This is the entire year of the Disney
Wow.
building being built across the street. So, you know, a little bit of a slow start because, you know, you got to dig a big hole, you have to put down the foundation, and then, like, it just
Boom.
goes. And so this was built on Winnie the Pooh. No. This was, well, yeah, kind of. Now that's part of it's public domain. You just have to make sure you don't put the red shirt on. And that is this week's main New York City factory footage.
Okay.
Let's do 3D printing. Okay, like I said, we have a lot to catch up on this week and a lot of videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to play these back to back to back. So the first one is the 2021 3D printing highlight reel. It's a couple minutes. Then we're going to show these really cool 3D printed Vulcan ear things. This is cool.
Elf.
Elf.
3D printed
Oh,
elf
yeah.
ear
Then
pod
we-
holders.
And then we have two speed ups.
Yep.
So take it away, Noam Pedro.
what's up folks? In this project, we're 3D printing elf ears for our earbuds. We were inspired by elf earbuds, so we designed our own and made them so you can slip them over your existing earbuds. These can fit most earbuds with a similar style. We 3D printed it in Ninja Flex, so the earbud has a nice grip when you press it through this loop. This features a tapered edge so the earbud stays in place. These can be fitted over your ear and wrap around the back. Printing these in flexible filament makes them more comfortable and easy to wear. We're still able to use the earbud's built-in controls so you can still use them normally. We think this will be really cool for anyone who's into cosplay or if you just want to casually wear them. You can print them in all sorts of different colors so you can match skin tones or whatever you like. We hope this inspires you to try out some flexible filament and make some creative projects for your favorite gadgets. Thanks so much for watching and be sure to subscribe for more projects from Adafruit.
Learn how to make all this stuff and more every single week on 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. All right, it's time.
Art on NPI.
This week's on MPI is
Jannard Tools. This is actually a
Okay.
New York company. They're up in White Plains,
Yeah.
outside of White Plains. They're our next door neighbors, basically.
Yeah.
I don't like people who say upstate when it's
many of our
an
lawyers.
hour out.
Many of our lawyers are up there. One time we had to go and
we've been to White Plains.
visit them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this week is from Jannard Tools, and they make this really
Yeah, I
nice
think I'm gonna be the-
technician. You be the Vanna White.
I like the tread on the bottom too.
This
by
is
the way.
very sweet. Yeah, this is molded.
This is sturdy. It's like a tire.
Yeah, it looks like a shoe. Okay, so do you want me to click? Maybe I'll click.
Yeah.
So this week's INPI is a technician backpack. It's designed for technicians, and this is like the sweetest ass backpack I've ever seen. I mean, this is like, you can tell that the people who design this backpack use and carry tools all the time, because all the things that drive you nuts about carrying tools or toolbox, they fixed in this backpack. So this is one of the few INPIs that after I got it, I'm like, I'm gonna keep this for myself because this is very handy. So it is a backpack. It's got one big main pocket. It's got two outer pockets, as you said. One of the really neat things is on the bottom is this flat molded rubber tire-like base, which means it stands flat. Like if you put it down, it's not going to tip over. It has a nice flat bottom. But it also is waterproof. So it means if you're outside and you're like technicians working outside in the rain, or telephone system or whatever, you don't have to worry about your backpack getting wet or damaged. Inside is like a couple dozen different pockets. There's 2 multimeter pockets with little Velcro straps to hold down the leads. There's screwdriver pockets, one for each size. There's wrench pockets. There's a special pocket on the outside for safety glasses. There is a zipper pocket in the front for like documentation or phones or whatever, general purpose stuff. Everything is like super padded and durable, so you're not going to get poked with a screwdriver. What I like is that everything has a spot, right? This is basically a replacement for a tool bench or a toolbox where you're not going to like stick your hand into a sharp, pointy metal saw-filled backpack and everything's at the bottom and like a mess. It's like everything has its own place. But it's all the little details that I really like. I'll show the little details after when I hold up in video, because there's like a lot of little things that I'm like, oh my God, this is like so cool and so smart. One thing I like is, it was designed by this New York company. It's got a made-for-life guarantee, so it's like the quality is really good. I'm not worried about it, but if there's any defect in manufacturing, they'll replace it. So,
And it's available on DigiKey.
for like under $100, it's a really good deal. It's a perfect backpack for hauling tools. Or I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's other purposes that this would be useful for.
That's on the side.
Okay, so this is one of the things I really like. There's this metal clip that has like a hard backing, and it's designed so like you have your tape measure, and you clip it on, and it doesn't come off, and it's not like rattling in your bag.
Okay, what else? Tell me when you want me to hold it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's this Velcro. Oh, this is nice. I didn't even.
Yeah,
oh,
there's
okay.
like little
I'm discovering new
slots.
things, and there's this Velcro
There's little
thing.
slots here, so you can like, you quickly, you're like, oh, I just want to put my wrench or screwdriver or whatever pen somewhere really quickly where you're like, I don't have time to open it. You can just put it here. There's 10 slots. There's a big Velcro piece, so you can like have your own Velcro stuff. You can see the Velcro here. These are the slots. This is nice. This is actually, most people don't know this, but this is for carrying your floppy disk drives.
Yeah.
It is now. It's hard molded, and it's got a little slot, but it's soft on the inside because it's meant for carrying your safety glasses. So it's protected, but if you feel on the inside, it's got that soft felt.
Okay.
And there's another slot, and then
What else?
this zips open, and all the zippers have really good zipper pulls, which I really like. So this is just like a holder, and then I like that all the there's like side gussets for every pocket. And then the main pocket.
Oh, just a little note here. This is a nice detail. These little loops here, because I have all these hooks.
Yeah,
that I
carabiner
use.
loops.
Yeah.
There's 2 carabiners. Oh wait, I forgot to mention. This is cool. So on the side, there's like 2 pockets for like larger screwdrivers. This is for electrical tape or duct tape or gaff tape. So you open this up, and you put the tape in,
That's smart.
and then you clip it closed, so it's solid. But like you can then
That's a good idea.
get tape off. And then inside, there's the multimeter pockets.
Yeah.
So there's like multimeter, like fluke multimeter size pockets.
That's really fun.
Lots, a couple dozen little slots. I mean, you can still put stuff in it, but it's really designed for.
Yeah. It's like I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like a really good tool belt that's a backpack, but also more.
Yeah. And then of course the bottom
Yeah.
is really good. And then of course it also comes with free stickers, which is important. They're nice vinyl stickers too.
Yeah.
So this is pretty sweet. And everything's padded. The back is padded, but it's not all padded. It's just in the shoulder blades, so it won't get sweaty. And yeah, it's a nice
Cool.
backpack. So this would be like a really good, of course, if you work as a technician, but if you have a friend who's a technician and you want to get them a gift, this is a really nice gift to give someone. I mean, they're going to love it because like I'm actually kind of tempted to take this home. Like we have a big toolbox and it's like a pain.
Yeah. So you could fit a laptop in here easily. Yeah.
You could fit a laptop. For sure, I would just put it in a case just because you have all the tools with sharp things. The front pocket could fit like a smaller like notebook or like a tablet, which is probably what it's for. But yeah, it's a really nice. It's a really nice tool belt.
And I think there was a
backpack.
few left on DigiKey because hard to find anything on planet Earth at the moment, but there's some there.
Yeah.
So go to DigiKey. You can check out the short URL there or the ID as well. And that's this week's Eye on MPI.
Oh, and we have the-
On MPI.
Sorry,
But wait, there's more.
I forgot. There's a video. Did you want to play the video, or should we send
Yeah.
people? Sorry,
Let's play the video.
I'm so excited.
No, actually, there's not a video.
Okay.
There's not a video.
That's fine.
We did the live demo.
We
We're
did the
done.
live demo, but there's a great video on the DigiKey site. If you go to this product page, there's
Yeah.
a video where they showed in more detail with really big close-ups of
Yeah.
all of the pockets. Apologies.
Actually, you know what? I can grab that from over here. Hold on.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's play it.
Okay.
You know what?
It's been a day.
Let's pretend that didn't happen. This isn't live. I'm going to fix it in
No,
post.
well, it's fine.
So here we go.
Nobody should know.
Hey guys, Ed here from Jonah Tools. Today I want to talk to you about our BP-100 Technician's Tool Bag Backpack. This backpack is 20 inches tall by 6.5 inches deep and 14 inches wide. The backpack features 36 pockets and 12 straps that allow you to put something in it very quickly and easily, and has a 2-inch wide Velcro strip in the front. The backpack features a strap here allowing you to hook up electrical tape and light. It has a clip here for you to put your tape measure on it. Cushion straps and cushion back in the back for added comfort. It has a heavy-duty EVA foam front pocket to protect things like safety glasses or maybe sunglasses. Inside, the backpack has 36 pockets, additional spots to put things like small screwdrivers and like. You can put them in these pockets as well. Has 2 pockets here for your meters or anything you want to protect. The backpack is made of 1680D ballistic material. The bottom here is rugged, waterproof plastic, so keep it nice and sturdy and dry in some of those harsh conditions out on a job site. Thank you.
All right, so that's really INMPI this week. Woo! I guess I'll play this thing again, yeah.
On NPI.
Okay, later, before we go into new products, let's give everyone the code. New Year is here, that's the code. 10% off the native first all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight. Are you ready to do this?
Yes, let's do it. It's a
Let's do
new,
it.
new year. It's a new product for the new year. Happy New Year. New products.
All right, new products. First up.
Yeah. It's a potentiometer. This is an Alpha Taiwan right angle 5K linear panel mount potentiometer. I know it's a lot, but we're actually going to carry a bunch of different Alpha pots. And this is like the first one of the series. It's a right angle pot. A lot of people use these in stuff like synthesizers and mixers and all kinds of projects. 5K linear, you know, we already have a 1K, 10K, and I think 100K linear pots from Alpha. So we're just going to add a lot more. So starting with this 5K. It's a nice little potentiometer. The pin spacing is 0.2 inches. You can use it in a breadboard if you like. It's a very fun pot. Next up, we have what I call the shortest USB-A to USB-C cable. This little thing is handy because it turns anything into a Trinky. If you have a computer with a USB-A port, plug it aside, and now you can plug a board with a USB-C socket on it into it, and it's like an instant connection because USB-C is reversible. You don't have to worry about like what if the board's upside down because it can always be reversed the other way around. So it's kind of a nice little adapter. Shown here with a laptop. Yeah, it's a little handy like Trinkifier / shortest little USB-A to C adapter, but I think very handy for dev boards where you want to turn them into a little pluggy thing, but they don't come with a pluggy thing.
All right, and we finally got these in stock. They're here, yay!
Yeah, we got these, you know what they're called, like a meditation boxes, sometimes they're
Prayer
called Buddha
box,
machines.
Buddha machine, yeah.
These are often hacked. People will use the cases, or they do circuit
bending.
Circuit bending, thank you.
Yeah.
On the, I was trying to say, I even took a photo of the PCB on the inside so you know what you're getting. Or you can meditate to them. They are kind of cool.
We all needed that. Next up.
Yeah, we definitely all need that. This will help you relax. Next up, it's the CP2102 friend. This is an update basically for our CP2104 friend, which was an update of our FTDI friend. Basically, it's a USB to serial converter chip on a breakout with all the pins on the side broken out, and on the end is like an FTDI cable end. It's basically this power ground, data, RTS, and CTS combo, like 6-pin connector, that's often used in dev boards that need a USB serial converter and maybe a couple control lines, but don't have that built in. So the CP2102N is the next generation after CP2104. And we love the CP2104. It's a wonderful 2 megabit per second USB serial converter from Scilabs. We use it in dozens of boards. However, I know you're about to hear is we can't really get any more CP2104s. They're proving very difficult to find in the shortage. But we have been able to get CP2102s. And so they're almost but not quite pin compatible. And for that reason, we wanted to start with making a breakout because this is USB-C. One thing that's different is that it does have up to 3 megabit per second, not 2 megabit per second. So it can go a little bit faster than the CP2104. The onboard EEPROM can be reprogrammed, whereas on the CP2104, it's a one-time programmable. So there is a purpose for having two different breakouts for this board, but basically we're kind of trying to get this out to have an option for people who can't get the CP2104, and also to experiment with this chip before we do a swap out of all of our other breakout boards from the 4 to the 2. That said, it's a perfectly fine FTDI replacement, and it's got USB-C, RX and TX LEDs. It's got all the pins broken out, so if you need all those, weirdo modem control lines like Ring or DTR or let's see what else, DCD. You need those pins. This breakout has them.
All right, next up.
Next up is, by request, a lot of people asked us to make a MCP 23017 breakout. Now, we carry the chip for the MCP 23017, and honestly, I've just been using the chip all this time. But I do see the benefit of having a breakout where, the pull-ups are set up for you, and there's the capacitors, and, everything's kind of aligned quite nicely. So this little breakout has an MCP 23017. It's a 16-channel GPIO expander that you can control over I2C. So it has 16 GPIO labeled A0 through A7, B0 through B7, and each one can be an output, and it can drive or sync 25 milliamps of current, so it's good for LEDs and stuff like that. It can also be inputs, and the inputs can have pull-ups enabled, so good for buttons as well. So it's kind of like a nice general purpose GPIO expander. The nice thing about the MCP 23017 is it's like kind of old. Like it's a well-established, known chip. There's drivers for it all over the place. It's used so often. And this breakout is STEMMA QT compatible, so you can plug it into I2C very easily. On the bottom are 3 I2C address jumpers, and so you can have up to 8 of these on one bus. They use, I think, address 20, OX20 through OX27. So you have lots of GPIO, but it's a nice, just reliable, non-weird GPIO expander. A lot of GPIO expanders have some weird thing going on. This one does not. It's really normal. So it's a nice, easy 16 GPIO plug and play with I2C.
All right, next up, big deal. Star of the show tonight besides you, Lady Ada, our team, our community, our customers. Everyone hanging out in the chat tonight is
The last product we manufactured in 2021, and the first product we're releasing out of 2022 is the ESP32S2 TFT Feather. So we basically took a 1.14-inch color TFT display and slapped it onto our Feather ESP32S2 to give you a Wi-Fi microcontroller board based on the ESP32S2 with native USB, 2 megabytes of PSRAM, 4 megabytes of flash. So it's got a lot of capability, a lot of speed, and it's got this color TFT display. And you can see I also have a little NeoPixel up top and a STEMMA QT port, so you can plug and play I2C. Reset and boot button. It's went through a couple different redesigns due to part shortages and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But if you want something that's just ready to go, it has a display. You can even use the boot button as an input. So you might be able to do even some simple projects that just need like one button and a display and I2C, plug for external sensors
Go
or
to the overhead.
expanders. Yeah, let me see if this demo comes up. Okay, so here you go. So the demo, I will say, it's like, oh, you have a battery. I don't have a there's a battery monitoring chip. Hold on. So
And you have it plugged into an actual plug thing.
No, I know. Yeah, there you go. Do that. Okay, that's nice and sharp. Oh no.
What
Hold
happened?
on. I think I pressed something. Hold on. Live demo.
Could be my fault because I had moved the power supply over there.
I think, yeah.
Sorry about that.
Hold on. Let me, just give me one moment.
All right. While Lady Ada is getting another cable thing here. Yeah, I think that's my bad. I had to move some stuff around, folks, so while we're waiting, admire the photos. Oh yeah, you don't have a cable?
Everything's been moved. We did a
Everything's
lot
gone.
of cleaning, but
I think we're
there's
gonna.
side effects.
I think we're gonna stick with the photos then.
Let me stick with the photos.
All
And
right.
actually, let me just go to the overhead so I can point out
I want
things.
to point out the back of it. Yeah.
Apologies, I think I unplugged the USB
Yeah,
cable.
okay.
Okay, so I've got USB-C battery input, and you can see here's the STEMMA QT port. You can plug in vertical. Hold on. There you go. You can plug in vertically, so you can have I2C sensors and expanders. Reset and boot buttons, color TFT display. It's all Feather compatible. Of course, you wouldn't want to plug a Feather on top of it, like a Feather wing on top of it, but you could use a doubler, or you could stack this on top of, I'm gonna try this other.
Yeah.
I think I think that power supply is dead because the power lines are, it's okay. It happens. Yeah, everything got shifted around here. And on the bottom, we've got an ESP32 S2 mini with 4 megabytes of flash, 2 megabytes of PS RAM. All the passives for monitoring the battery. There's an LC709203, and that's a I2C ultra low power battery monitoring that does like voltage and not Coulomb counting, but it like kind of tracks the voltage. You just tell it the capacity of the battery, and it'll automatically tell you the percentage and voltage of the battery, so you can like track percentage and not have to do the math to convert like 3.7 volts to whatever. And there's also a second regulator. The second regulator is used to disable power from the I2C or TFT display, so you can do like ultra low power usage, because I think that could be, more people are trying to use our boards for low power, and I thought I had time with this one to because I had to redesign it due to the component shortage. So you can turn off the TFT power and the power to the I2C port and get down to like 80 to 100 microamperes, which is about as low as you can get in deep sleep when using an ESP32 S2. And still have like, the regulator. And then of course in a lighter sleep, like a sleep where you want to resume execution, I think it's about 1 milliamp. So overall pretty full featured board. This has like the most stuff. It's double-sided. So again, you don't want to put a Feather on top. I recommend like a doubler or something with this if you want to add more hardware. But this is also great for a breadboard because, overhead, you can use it on a breadboard and have the TFT display and plug it in, and the height of all the components on the bottom isn't higher than the header spacer. So that's kind of what I recommend it to be used for. But otherwise, it's basically just like a Feather ESP32 S2 with a high-speed TFT display.
Yeah.
And for CircuitPython, it's great because you'll have the rep will show up on the TFT when you plug it in.
And that's new products. All right. Well, guess what? We're going to do some top secret. Things ran a little late tonight, but
I
we're
know.
not going to stop. We're going to get
It's
done
been
this.
a day.
Yeah, so let's do top secret, and y'all can load up questions over in the Discord chat because that's where we do the questions and answers. So first up, I'm going to do a couple of things.
Yes.
So this is the logo for the Floppy project we're doing right now. It's called Adafruit Floppy. We'll see something, but the logo, if you look close, this is the back of a Floppy. Floppies don't have two hubs and spin around, but a rabbit does. And then these are ears. I like logos that look like something else, like the FedEx logo. There's an arrow in
Yeah.
it. And then you can see there's this like couple variations and stuff like that. And for those who know me, a little bit of a secret
You love monochrome
history.
logos.
Well, not only that, but the Hackaday logo was almost a Floppy that was going to be like a rabbit or with like skull stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was going to be like a rabbit skull with like wrenches or something like that. So that's the Hackaday logo I did. And you can see there's like, I have a style of a thing. And then this is Bruce, our designer, worked with me on this, and it was it turned out good. So
Definitely looks like the bunny and the skull are best friends.
they're friends.
Like they hang out,
Um,
make coffee together.
And so then you were showing off these things. This is the super duper flippy flopper.
Yes, this is a little breakout board to a standard floppy 34-pin connector, and also a 26-pin surface mount connector for laptop floppy drives.
Okay, and then you had another thing.
This is just like a little feather friend. This is something that's going to make it easier for me to do projects with floppy disks because I can plug in a feather without having to do all the wiring.
Do copy that floppy.
This is important that when you make a package for a floppy disk drive, that
Yes,
the schematic symbol must look like a floppy
it's
disk.
the rule.
And like I actually spent a few minutes. Also made a breakout on request for the DRV 2605. Revisited an Itsy Bitsy ESP32, and finished routing an RP2040 Metro Airlift.
All right, and that's top secret. All right, so don't forget, go over to Discord, adafruit.it/Discord, join all 32,000 of us, and we're going to answer your questions. There's a couple lined up already.
Okay. I hope it's not, why did I just
So-
break my power supply? 'Cause I didn't
Well,
know.
no, because look,
No, I'm
move,
angry at this power supply.
move fast and break things.
I
Yeah,
know,
sorry.
I
I think that
did.
was my fault. 'cause
It's
I messed up
okay.
that.
No, I think I kicked, I don't know, whatever.
Who knows?
And my
okay.
I put away all my batteries. I was like, oh, I'm going to clean up my batteries. And of course, now I don't have a battery sitting. I usually have like 3 batteries in a pile on my desk. And of course, I was like, I'm going to clean up. And now I can't find them.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
having piles of stuff is helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, we just had to clean. We were starting. Our apartment is definitely a place where someone who does electronics lives. Anyways, so a couple questions that
Hit
came
me.
in. Folks say, loving all these logos. Or any chance for sticker versions in the future? Yeah. So.
You can
I'll
also
up-
send them off.
Yeah, I'll do some stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no
Oh,
problem.
wait, I had one more.
Oh, you want? Okay, just show this while we're answering questions. What else you got? Oh boy.
You got pink KB2040 PCBs. So I'm going to make all the RP2040 boards pink. I think because it's like the pig. You know what I mean? If you have like a little pig snout for the keyboard, you got to be pink. So it's going to be pink.
Okay.
Coming soon.
Not a question, but it's a nice treat for everyone. All right. Thank you for the SWD header on the RP2040 Metro.
Yes.
And then folks seem to like the RP2040 Metro. Do GAN FETs offer any advantage thermally and other in low frequency DC, such as in a SSR?
You know, I don't know. Every time I've controlled an SSR, I've just used like a plain FET. So I don't know, to be honest. And also, I think to calculate your power requirements, and then, whatever. Usually it's like whatever is the RDS on, or the voltage drop of your FET, whether it's a MOSFET or JFET or whatever FET. And then if you have a high power requirement, then either get a bigger package, a heat sink, or a more efficient chip.
Okay. And then, well, I think you can answer this question because it comes up. So what did you use to design, because it's a common question, what did you use to design this?
This is EagleCAD. This is EagleCAD Components Editor,
Yeah.
which you can export into KiCad or KiCad.
Yes, either one of those.
Either one of those.
All right.
It's XML.
Okay, let's see. I think some folks are typing, so we'll see if there's any more questions,
Yeah.
and then we'll skedaddle. How do you get a Hackaday skull sticker? Well, I think you could
Found Hackaday.
Well, go to hackaday.com and email them. I'm not connected with the site anymore. I just started it, did everything, and then now it's theirs. They've given away tons of stickers at events and more. I have my own little small collection, but they're around. The only thing I'd say is I think events, since we're not doing in-person events, means we're all not getting a lot of free stickers.
Yeah, I know.
So, I mean, it's Ronald in chat. Ronald, if Hackaday won't send you one, email PT at Adafruit. I'll make it happen. I mean, like, I don't have, please everyone don't email. I don't have enough for everybody, but, you know, try to do it. Okay. Next up, the new Adafruit ESP32 S2 TFT. Have you used PPK2 or equivalent to power for the power consumption at full power on with Wi-Fi?
No, because I don't care. I only care about the lowest power, right? That's the part that you have to engineer to do. Believe me, you want to connect all sorts of peripherals, turn on the TFT backlight full power, turn on the Wi-Fi. You'll start peaking at 200 milliamps easily, but it really depends on your situation. The only thing I can control is the lowest power, and we got that down to under 100 microamps.
Good work. Usually people are most concerned with.
Yeah, most people don't ask what's the most power it can use.
Yeah, I
That's
think
a rare
for microcontrollers, it's like, oh, like, does it have sleep? Does it have this? Can it do low power stuff? Can it turn on once in a while? Watchdog stuff? Can it do something and go back
Yeah.
to sleep? That's a good question. Like, we should also do it the other way. Like,
Max.
this board goes to 11.
I connected it to a light bulb.
Yeah. And I think, Lady Ada, we're going to be... folks like the color TFT. Yep, they like that. All right, I think you're out.
Yay.
Okay, calling it. All right,
Great.
that's our questions this week.
Sweet.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us this week in an exciting show. Mask up, get vaxxed, get boosted. This will be over, but please stick around for the other side of it.
I know.
And be good to each other. Special thanks to Jessie May, who's doing stuff behind the scenes in the Adafruit Slack. Special thanks to everyone in the Adafruit chat. I'll say, I had a crummy day, but I feel a lot better because of all of you out there and in the chat and being nice and everything. So thank you. I forget that no matter how bad things are, I can go and hang out with our community online and get those good vibes. You know, some days it's hard to remember that because, you know, I'm not in front of the computer all the time.
Take a floppy.
Okay, thank you. All right, so
Have a floppy, share a floppy.
yeah, so we'll see everybody next week. Again, special thanks JP for doing show and tell this week. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget the code is New Year is here. We'll see you next week, and hopefully this weekend we'll have some more progress on projects. So stay tuned to all of our blogs, social, and all that, and we'll post up some more cool stuff of more making things and sharing it with the world, because that's what you do. All the way back to high school, you were doing that.
That's true.
Some things change, but some things
A
don't.
lot of things don't.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
The good thing, like, it's good. I think young Lady Ada would be proud if I could broadcast this and show her what you're up to. I think she'd like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. This has been an Adafruit production. There's no reason I say this, by the way. I just like doing it. Here's your moment of Zener.